Bang, bang. And we're back. So I've been in the laboratory for the last month or so. My diet has absolutely flown off the wheels, annihilated. Been doing it on purpose, eating whatever the fuck I want to prove a fucking point. You gotta understand, as a man, everything you do in your late teens and your 20s lays the foundation, crystallizes your foundation. And as you get older, if you paved and cemented that foundation correctly, you have a lot of latitude to do whatever the fuck you want. I have a monster, a behemoth of a fucking foundation to chew through. I was telling my boy today, I guarantee I could fucking live on Pepto Bismol for fucking a month straight. And I guarantee you that I will find anabolic effects. And this is what the primal motherfuckers, it's the point has flown completely over their head. Right? Because look, primal living, harking back to nature, is an instrumental staple on this corner of Twitter. Every fucking up and comer on this corner of Twitter is eerily obsessed with living primal, right? There is nothing primal, nothing about curating a perfect fucking diet. Nothing. Zero. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. You are on a fast track. Follow along and pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. If you are one of these dudes on Twitter who's always in search of the next molecule, the next hot supplement, whatever fucking methylene blue is, you, my friend, are on a fast track to the same type of lifestyle that the lame, the infirm, and the crippled live. Horseshoe theory. Because look, when a man is fully replete and a man is fully replenished and a man experiences the full felicity of being fucking happy, satisfied. There's a reason that adage is used as a pejorative term, fat and happy. We all know that that is the first pillar. It's the first omen of an empire that's about to crumble under the weight of its own legs. You never, as a man, want to be fully healed. You never, as a man, want to be fully fucking replenished. You never, as a man, want to be fully refreshed. Maybe on your deathbed, maybe you can call these elements into play on your fucking deathbed. Real primal living, my friends, is zigzag. It's chaos. It's chaos. These ancestors that you all recall, that you're fucking obsessed with, that you constantly fucking put in the bibliography of every fucking thread that you write. You guys understand these motherfuckers did not have unbridled access to the kind of fucking nutritious health foods that you guys have, right? You understand that in the fucking jungle, in the wilderness, which is where a lot of you motherfuckers wish to be, you understand that chaos really, really took hold. And that there were weeks where there were no big game to be speared. Motherfuckers would have to go down into a ravine and chew on fucking reeds. Chew on fucking reeds down in the ravine. You'd have to fucking rappel into a fucking gulch at times to sip some fucking piss-laden, rodent-infested cave water. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Here's the crux. Because these patterns of not having access to perfect nutrition, not having a perfect profile daily, These motherfuckers would wake up and struggle because it's endemic to nature to struggle, to figure out where their next meal was coming from. That, my friends, was the genesis. That is the progenitor of a perfect hormonal profile. It's in the deficits. It's when a man psychologically is in terror and slight petrification that he might not get fucking bison meat tomorrow. That whole psychological instrument whips a man up into a frenzy, which stirs up a lot of psychological forces that sharpen his edge. And these optimizers, these guys who have 40 grass finished ribeyes in their fucking refrigerator, and they think that they're clever. They think they can biohack the rhythm, the cadence of nature by fooling and tricking her into thinking that you're actually doing an intermittent fast, when in your hind brain, in the reptilian brain, you know goddamn well you ain't hungry. You've missed the psychological component. You've missed the psychological benefit of having that staggered, zigzagged, uncertain life. Do you understand? And so the motherfucker like me, who's now, I've been eating pizza, I'm eating whatever the fuck I want. My body is 100% panicked right now. It's 100% panicked. I've thrown it completely off what it's known my whole life, but it's done instrumentally. I am running a more accurate simulacrum of what it's like to be in nature than any of these barefoot walking motherfuckers who think they're grounding, but you're walking on your vinyl flooring in your 1-bedroom studio apartment. Nothing primal about that, my friend. When you fill your cup to the brim of perfect health and you are in constant search and agony for having the perfect nutritional profile, you are closer to your deathbed than the cancer patient. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Because look, your ambition, your ambition, the fire in your belly, what catapults men to the top, what makes men industrious, and what keeps the fires of ingenuity constantly cackling and kindling is deficit. And when you plug up all the holes and you fix every deficit in your life, you can extrapolate this emotionally as well. The motherfucker who does all the self-help work in the world and heals all of his trauma now does not have a grain of motivation to go make anything of this world. Do you understand? A healed man is a broken man. A finally healed man is a severely crippled man. All hope is lost for that man. And that's why nature is what it is. That's why nature made, designed, baked into the game of life. Nature is so fucking smart. It made the most nutritious foods on the planet the hardest to receive, right? The harder it is to slay an animal, the more nutritious it is. Nature is fucking genius. And it made all the malnutritious foods, the foods that don't build muscle, the foods that don't fuel the brain, the foods that don't propel your lipids. It made them so easy to acquire. Scale a tree, fucking pick an apple, walk down to the fucking ravine, grab a fucking stash of fucking onions, whatever the fuck. You understand? Easy to acquire food is not nutritious. Hard to acquire food is extremely nutritious. Now you can extrapolate this into the game of life until kingdom come, and a lot of answers that are eluding you will come to the forefront because that's how it works. You don't want perfect health as a man. You want to get to like 90%, and that other 10% where your body is hungry. Your body's maybe missing something that it fucking quote unquote needs. That's what makes men ingenious. That's where the artist is born. That's where talent springs to life. It's in the crevices of the deficits. So these motherfuckers on Twitter who are flaunting their fucking perfect health profiles, have you noticed that none of these motherfuckers are doing anything cool? Because when a man is perfectly happy and content and healthy, like I said, your natural instinct is to fucking recline in the sun and do nothing. And do nothing. Capitalism wasn't born by these types of motherfuckers. Let's take a little fucking stroll through history. Look at these fucking generals that you guys venerate and revere. Look at fucking General Custer. Look at all these fucking General Patton. Look at these motherfuckers. Look at their build. Look at their fucking physiognomy. They're fucking sinewy, lean motherfuckers wearing buckskin coats, fucking barking orders on the fucking battlefield, rattling sabers. And these motherfuckers had major deficits, major fucking strife, turmoil, food shortages, fucking provisions wouldn't come on time. Yet the physiognomy would fucking bedazzle you looks maxing motherfuckers today, right? Because look, I've come to the conclusion just through walking through life, it's become very apparent to me that physiognomy is impressed and indented in your face by your thinking. It's not the actions that you take. I swear to God, you can mew for the next 15 years. I don't give a fuck what protocols you hop on. The way you think, your mind, the way the gears turn in your brain is what makes the indentations in your face. That's an absolute fact. How do I know that's true? Because what I do know is that the look that every man wants, that rugged look, which is the blessed archetype, comes from being thrown a really fucking grandiose challenge. If I took a motherfucker to the gym and had him yawning under the fucking Tiberian sun on a fucking islanded, fucking macheteing coconuts, plentiful access to abundance. All he had to do was lift every motherfucking day for years, living on a fucking island. Everything is fucking given to him. He has a perfect fucking setup. If I conducted that experiment and put a motherfucker on an island under those pretenses, and I took another motherfucker and I said, hey, buddy, for the next 2 years, you're not going to the gym. You're not doing any health protocols. What you're going to do is you're going to crack Da Vinci's code on a business challenge and you're going to go in the trenches and you are going to put your guts on the line. You're going to put everything in your soul on the line to make this business come true, come real. Now, I guarantee you, and I will bet your weight in gold that the motherfucker who undertakes the psychological business challenge comes out in 2 years with far, far more sublime physiognomy than the dipshit on the island pumping fucking weights doing nothing. Guarantee you, the indentations on the face, the impressions, are more widely respected by the motherfucker undergoing the psychological challenges. It's physiognomy is all psychological. How do I know that? Because all you motherfuckers that cite phenomenal physiognomy on Twitter, they're all fucking interesting thinkers. All the motherfuckers with good physiognomy are interesting thinkers. It's no coincidence. And the motherfuckers who look smacks and on the aesthetics treadmill, they look like fucking faggots. We all know it's true. We all know it's true. You know, you want to talk about how the mind burns calories. I see people citing the study that chess players are burning monstrous amount of calories in the inferno, in the metabolic inferno, because of the way they think. Yeah, That's the fucking focal point of every fucking argument right now. The mind is everything. The mind is everything. The way you think, how fast you can flip the switch. Can you improvise? Can you get yourself in a hole and dig yourself out? Where's your ingenuity? Ingenuity is everything. Everybody you respect is rolling the dice real hard, snake eyes, on fucking ingenuity. That's like the most self-aggrandizing trait on earth, is fucking just being industrious and resourceful. Extremely fucking powerful effects, metabolic effects, anabolic effects, from just being a quick, sharp thinker and exercising your mind. It's what separates everybody. Every motherfucker that you see, disparity. You guys think disparity is from the motherfucker who's 6'6" and a guy like Danny DeVito who's 5'2"? No, 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 no. That's not the case. The real disparity, winners, losers, comes in how motherfuckers think. That's it. It's the entire battleground. That's the only battleground you should be interested in. You know the best way to sharpen your edge on the whetstone? You know how you get a razor sharp edge as a man? I'm going to tell you right now. It comes from knifing your way out of bad programming. And this is where the American school system has actually been an accidental boon to certain dudes that are cut from a certain cloth. Because the motherfuckers that were brainwashed in the school system growing up were so jaded, so benighted, so fucking frustrated with the system that it forced them to navigate the labyrinth and find a better way. That's why artists are born from great sagas of pain and suffering. Because pain and suffering and being unwilling to accept circumstances that have been imposed on you that you yourself did not want forces the human organism to start getting real fucking creative and start finding other avenues, other resources, other options. And that's where all talent paints itself on the canvas. It's where it all comes from. So the motherfucker who was sitting in high school knowing that he was learning bullshit had no choice but to find another way for himself. And deconditioning that programming. This is why there's no excuses in life, because even if you had fucked up parents, even if they gave you the worst advice on planet Earth, even if you followed their advice to a T and you knew that if you did, you would drive your life off of a fucking cliff, off of a fucking precipice, you as a man have a duty to disentangle yourself from all the webs that you have been thrown into, that you've been hurled into by other people. It's your job. It's a civic duty to decondition yourself and deprogram. And that process is where your edge is born. Because the anger of being incorrectly programmed from an early age, there are many men who have successfully navigated out of that maze. Many, many such cases, many stories of men who absolutely broke the odds and found a way out of a situation that statistically they should have been hard capped and should have been totally fucked from an early age based on the circumstances that they were thrown into. But that edge, boy, that lance, that fucking lance fucking can pierce through anything if you use it right. If you fucking use it right. I had a boy very recently, one of my homies, he was struggling. He was on a date with a girl and he wanted my consultation about something that had occurred. And he told me that he went on a date with this particularly beautiful woman and he was shell shocked. He was dumbfounded by how bad he fumbled it. He said it went absolutely horrible. And one of the first things that he said that tipped me off, and the red flags in my head were fucking charging like a fucking Chinese parade. He said, and he's like, Brute, I don't understand. He's like, my drip was maxed out. He's like, I got all fucking dripped out, iced out for this date. And I interrupted him. And I said, what the fuck did you just say? And he said, dude, I literally fucking was dripped out. He's like, I looked incredible. And I was like, yeah, that's why you fumbled her. Right there. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, buddy, let me explain something to you. Men never need to get ready. Men don't need to get ready. The more effort, the more effort a man puts into going on a date, I swear to God, it has a rebound effect. The worse the date's gonna go. And how do I know that's true? Because the more effort a woman puts into her makeup, her presentation for a date, the better the date's gonna go. It's a fucking reconciliation of opposites. Women should be putting a tremendous amount of time into the look, into the presentation before they go out with a man. Man don't need to fucking lift a fucking finger. You could literally just rinse off, throw on a pair of sweatpants. That date's gonna go swimmingly if you are the guy. Do you understand? There's a fundamental chink in the armor here. This guy was not the guy, and he was using the fucking drip, the shiny objects, to try to beckon her attention. Of course it fumbled. He was way too invested. And what have I told you guys about men who are way too invested in a process? You always strangle it. You suffocate it. Because men only get what they truly want in life when they're careless. This is fucking ancient wisdom. Men only get what they want in life when they are utterly careless. Not to be confused with reckless, but careless, right? Because you cannot, as I've discussed before, attack problems directly. Women, getting women was never supposed to be a direct science. Never. That's why the dating apps are evil. Evil. Because anything that trivializes human nature is evil. And the dating apps took out the divine benevolence of living a cool life and organically, magically bumping into a mate. That's the way it actually supposed to work. And when you make an incision and you take a scalpel and you flay the natural nature of things and you ablate them, it has disastrous consequences. Look at what's happened to the sexual marketplace. It's a fucking disaster because the serendipity, which is the axis in which the earth rotates. Look, the earth is dependent on chaos and serendipity. That's how you get the best matches of genes. A lot of flow, a lot of markets get severely interrupted and hindered when you take away laissez faire. Okay? And it's more so true in interpersonal relationship dynamics. It's more so true when it comes to that type of shit. Because everything in interpersonal dynamics is extremely counterintuitive. Extremely. It's almost the exact opposite of what you've been told, and it's almost the exact opposite of what you've been taught. There's no rationality in interpersonal dynamics. There's no rationality in sales. You understand? That's why logic loses. Logic gets mauled. Logic gets mauled in interpersonal dynamics because you're fucking with the infrastructure of an animal at that point, right? Love, emotions, shit like that. You're tinkering with that. And so of course, logic is your enemy in those scenarios. And so this guy wanting to hold on so tightly and impress the date, he had the wraparound effect. He sabotaged it on purpose. Sabotaged it on fucking purpose. Because men, and I want to emphasize this and I want to underscore and bold and italicize it because it's so fucking important. Men do not need to get ready for anything. If you ever find yourself having to meticulously prepare for an endeavor, the chances you fuck up that endeavor are high, very high, very high. I don't prepare to come on a spaces. I flip open my phone. You could wake me up groggy at 2 a.m., flip open my phone. I promise you I can riff for a couple hours on a spaces. Because everything I share here is coming straight from the fucking heart. It's already in me. It's already coursing through my fucking veins. There's no fucking preparation. I don't fucking need flashcards. I don't need prompts. I don't need any of that bullshit. It's in me, right? So that is the natural vertex state of man, is a man who's always ready to pounce, never has to get ready. And look, for you professional corporate motherfuckers, obviously, all right, you can fucking, of course you can fucking suit up your fucking blazer. Of course you can fucking adjust your tie. But the point still fucking remains. Shouldn't take you that long. Shouldn't fucking take you that long to get yourself primed and ready for a professional setting, is the bottom fucking line. You know what I mean? If I have to go to the gym in a robe and slippers, you bet your ass I'm power cleaning 330 in a robe and slippers. I am not dependent upon the external for anything. Everything that I need is within me. And until you get to that point, until you genuinely can say as a man, you've gotten to the point where you don't feel like you have to prepare, you are ready for anything. You are ready to execute, attack. You're ready to fucking defend. You're ready to do whatever the fucking play, whatever the moment dictates and whatever the moment calls for. The amalgamation of whatever's being thrown at you, you are ready as a man to fucking jump in your car and go. I'm telling you, it is the climactic state of man. Not tripping about your fucking hair and fucking combing this and looking this, because I've said this before and I'm gonna continue to fucking pound it through your thick skulls because it's a fact. I know how fucked up modern society is, and I'm telling you the biggest reason is because men genuinely are obsessed with how they look. It is the number one problem. There's no refutation for this. It is the number one fucking problem because a man is designed by nature to operate through the world from the first person point of view. You're a flamethrower, you're an inflictor. So everything comes outward. You externalize things as a man. The problem is, in the modern world, because of flip phones, cameras, shit like this, media, modern man is constantly, when he is seated in a position across the table from a woman, in any conversation, in any liaison, he is constantly in his mind's eye, zoomed out, staring at himself from the omniscient point of view, staring at himself like a narrator, judging and criticizing the way he looks, the way he's talking, his vocal tone, how's his posture, what's she thinking. You motherfuckers are completely outside your head in the omniscient point of view. And that is the bitch way to live. That's living life on your fucking knees. Man ain't supposed to live in the third person point of view looking down upon himself. Man is a first person creature, which means you bring forth what is inside you and you plunge and you pierce and you spear it outward into the fucking world. Massive fucking literary difference. Because at the end of the fucking day, let's be very real, it all is about who you assign as the director of your life. That's what it comes down to. We as men, we get to choose who's directing the show. You know what I mean? And you don't fucking, most of you motherfuckers have a morbid musical composition playing in the background for every little fucking thing that gets under your skin. I'm gonna take some questions. I need a smoke break. Cooper, go ahead.
It seems to me like there are two ends of the spectrum in regards to taking action. You can go with the flow or you can make shit happen. How do you balance these two ends of the spectrum?
The exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Those are synonyms. So going with the flow. Look, I said this on my last spaces. Going against the grain is not the solution. And it's sort of there's sort of an irony here because a lot of people think by my living style that I'm actually going against the grain at all times because brute force, which is obviously the nom de plume that I'm using on Twitter, but it's the moniker is there's an irony to my name. There's an irony to the brand because it's really the exact opposite. There's nothing brute force about my approach. I am in a constant state of languishing and having to deal with very fiery emotions, and then I get everything done and all my biggest wins come in just a quick-legged sprint. So you want to talk about going with the flow? It has to start it has to start with this one thing, which is what every fucking man wants, which is to do whatever the fuck you want to do as a man. And it doesn't take money to do that. This is the hardest thing for motherfuckers to wrap their head around. It don't take a dollar in the bank to start living, acting, behaving, thinking, talking the way you fucking want to. You can start doing that right now. And that is the foundation from which everything else that will come in your life is built upon. It's built upon that premise. If you are a man who cannot say, behave, act, and do what you want when you do come into money, you are 100% going to get steamrolled. You're going to get rocked bad. And so I equate that with going with the flow, right? Because it's endemic to my nature and I'm also doing whatever the fuck I want. And that is what opens the avenues and the doors and the creativity. Because when you do what you want, you're always going to find, look, as humans, you always are going to find what you're looking for. That's the secret. The secret to life is you will always find what you're looking for. You got a motherfucker who's always looking for people to be racist towards him. That's all he's going to see. All he's going to see, all he's going to run into, he's going to lock horns with racist people because that's what he's looking for. And so like that's what manifestation is. It's not really like a pataphysical, metaphysical concept. Manifestation is merely the idea that you are always going to see exactly what you're trying to find. And that's why morbid curiosity always gets punished. You know what I'm saying? Like and I'm going off on a crazy tangent here, but
No, I like it.
this is why I've always told motherfuckers, brother, you never need to hunt down answers. You never need to get the battering ram and the torch and start banging on doors for answers. Because morbid curiosity always gets punished. You don't have to go through your fucking girl's phone. I tell guys this all the time. You never go through your girl's phone. If you're a man and you live the way I'm telling you how to live and you kick back with your feet up, the answers come to you.
Yeah.
The answers come directly to you. I don't have to wonder if someone's fucking playing me, if someone's being deceitful. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, and I don't have to lift a fucking finger to figure it the fuck out. And that's being in the power position, by the way. If a girl's playing you, trust me, last thing you want to do is go on a fucking witch hunt.
Okay.
Last thing you want to do, because you're gonna get severely punished. You're gonna find what you're looking for, is my fucking point, right?
Yeah.
And so this is where, as men, we actually do shape and create reality because when you're not looking for it, look, I'm going to say something that's going to be hard to swallow. Motherfuckers might have to literally replay this segment a couple times to hear what I'm about to say. You have to be willing to let what you don't want to happen so it doesn't happen. I'm going to say that one more time slowly. As a man, you have to be willing to let the things you don't want to happen so they don't happen. And so when you allow space for the things that you don't like to come into your life, it's incredible how they don't come in. But when you resist and you're constantly designing and curating an entire lifestyle around preventing from certain things to happen, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why I said every man is naturally governed towards falling into their deepest, darkest fears. Men will always self prophesize their deepest, darkest fears. You will conjure them and you will make them come true. Because that's how life works. Because of the very nature that you're scared of it, you're naturally going to be led and drawn towards having a grand finale confrontation with that thing. That's why the guy who's scared of being cheated on always gets cheated on. It's why the guy who's scared of losing his money always loses his money. It's why the carefree, misfit motherfuckers always win.
Let's
Because,
go.
yeah, go ahead.
No, let's go. I like it. That's why we win.
That's why all men win. Because it's the most incredible thing about life is, I said this on the other spaces, it's one of the most profound things I ever said. I said, as a man, when you are least receptive to a woman's love is when you're going to get the most of it. When you're saddled, when you're saddled and racked and your mind is falling apart because your mission is so powerful and you're so devoted and you're so dedicated to your mission, that is when you will have the most love and support in this world. And it's also it's also at that very stasis point where you will feel the most lonely. You will feel the most alone you have ever felt in your fucking life when you are the most loved as a man. And that is why heavy is the fucking head that wears the fucking crown. Because that's a fucking fact. We all know that feeling where we've been deeply loved and adored by people, and we just, for some reason, we couldn't fucking appreciate or hold on to it. It always felt like there was like 3 or 4 degrees of separation somehow. There was a chasm. And that is the single most grotesque paradox of life about the male experience is what I just said.
All right.
Anyway, brother,
What do you think?
I appreciate
Hey,
your
last
question.
question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about free will?
I think it's an irrelevant question. I think the answer is impractical. I think you have to look at it as a multi-layered structure. So look, like I look at fate. It's very deeply layered. At the top, man is leading. If you go a layer beneath that, it's his fate that's leading him. If you go a layer below that, he chose his fate. It's like it's way too much of an onion. It's like you peel back so many fucking layers and layers and layers and layers. They're all interwoven and interlocked. So the answer is just totally irrelevant and impractical to the free will destiny question. But the TLDR on that is that it's a mixture of both. 0, 0, 0, 0. Bunch of ciphers, huh?
Yeah, dude. Um, when it comes to rites of passage for men, heartbreak, moving out, figuring out how you're going to make money, do all men come across these things? And if they don't, are they doomed in some way? Do you have to go through these things to become fully aware of what they can turn you into?
Yeah, it's mandatory. It's mandatory if you want to rest at the helm of the look. I've said this before, I've articulated this, and it's true. The best position to be in as a man is a man who cannot be fooled. A man who cannot be bamboozled. A man who sees everybody coming a mile away, sees every little fucking angle, who's seen it all. That is the most powerful man on earth. It's not a material thing. It's a psychological thing. And the only way to be a man who no one can pull the wool over your eyes, you're too slick, you're too sharp, you're too smart, you see it coming a mile away every fucking time. This is the ideal. You want to talk about male idealism? This is it right here. You can only achieve that by getting your heart stomped on and slaughtered thousands of times, right? Like playing life on hardcore mode instead of easy mode. That's why the truly primal man zigzags in his success. That's why the path to success is not linear. It's circuitous in many ways. It's jagged. You know what I mean? There's obtuse angles in here. And so this is why net worth high one day, net worth one low day, heartbroken here, the whole bipolar thing, the whole bipolar lifestyle. It's ironic because bipolar has gotten a bad rap, but that the bipolar lifestyle of a man who has huge swings, financially, emotionally, stability, etc., that man is the wisest man because it's in those swings that you have everything to gain on the psychological front. And as I've said before, all defeat is psychological until death. Bottom line, as a man, every defeat, every loss you will ever endure is 100% in your head until you die. And if that doesn't give you chills down your fucking spine, then you have fucking gynomastia. Because that's the most empowering fucking sentence you could ever fucking rattle off in your head. It's all psychological. Every fucking defeat you will ever face is all in your mind until you actually expire. What a
Yeah.
fucking beautiful concept.
So it's not really defeat unless you accept it as that, pretty much.
That a 100%. 100%. That's why you got to lick your wounds to get back on the fucking battlefield. You got to get back on the horse as a man because you're just never out of the game. You always have cards. And if you don't have cards, bluff. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's always a move to be made. Very, very rarely do you get checkmated.